Wow.
Verse number 5. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul, and his enemy as well. Purport. The Sanskrit word atma, self, denotes body, mind, and soul, depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga systems, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practice, Atma here refers to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herewith that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience.
In the Ashtanga Yoga system, this eight-fold yoga system, Dhan Dharana, they are meant for controlling the mind. Don't make sound. Mind, unless you control the mind, in the beginning it is said, a man must elevate himself by his own mind. Mind is the driver. The body is the chariot or car. So, just like if you ask your driver, please get me into Krishna consciousness temple, the driver will bring you here. And if you ask your driver, please get me in that liquor house, the driver will drive you there. The driver business is to drive you wherever you like. Similarly, your mind is the driver. If you can control, but if the driver takes your license, that wherever he likes he will take it, then you are gone. Then your driver is your enemy. But if your driver acts on your order, then he is your friend. So actually, the yoga system means to control the mind in such a way that he will act as your friend, not as your enemy. Actually, the mind is acting as because I have got little independence, because I am part and parcel of the Supreme who has got full independence, therefore I have got little independence. The mind is controlling that independence. If mind says, all right, let me go to the Krishna conscious temple, and the mind can say, what is that nonsense? Krishna, let us go to some club. So mind is driving you. So therefore, our Krishna consciousness movement is to fix up the mind in Krishna. That's all. He cannot but act as friend. You see, he has no scope to give anyone place. As soon as Krishna is seated on the mind, just like as soon as there is sunshine, the sun is on the sky, there is no scope of darkness. There is no possibility. Darkness will never come before the sun. Similarly, Krishna is just like sun. You keep Krishna on the mind, the Maya, darkness will never be able to come. That is the first class yoga system. That is the perfection of yoga system. One whose mind is so strong that mind will not allow any nonsense to come in, then where is your fall down? The mind is strong, the driver is strong. He cannot take you anywhere unless you desire. So, the whole yoga system means to make the mind strong, not to deviate from the Supreme. That is perfection of yoga system. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayo. One should fix up just like Ambarish Maharaj fixed up his mind only on Krishna. And there was a fight between a great yogi, Ashtanga yogi, Durvasa Muni. Maharaj Ambarish, he was a king, he was a householder, and he was counseling man. A householder means he has to take account of pound, shilling, pence, dollars, cents. King, he was actually king. So Durvasa Muni was a great yogi. He was envious of this king. That, how is that? I am so great a yogi, I can travel in this space, and this man is ordinary king. He cannot show such jugglery of yoga system, but still people honor him most. Why? I shall teach him some lesson. So he picked up some quarrel with the king. That's a long story. I shall state it some other day. So after all he was defeated, and he was directed by Narayan to take shelter of the feet of the king Maharaj Ambarish. These instances we see from authoritative scripture that he was simply keeping Krishna in his mind, and he defeated the greatest yogi. Durvasa Muni, he was so perfect yogi that within 1 year he traveled all over this material space and beyond the material space in the spiritual space, that went directly to the kingdom of abode of God, Vaikuntha, and saw the personality of Godhead personally. Still he was so weak that he has to come back and fall down on the feet of Maharaj Ambarish. But Maharaj Ambarish, he was ordinary king, he was simply thinking of Krishna, that's all. These instances you will see. Therefore, the highest perfection of yoga system is to control the mind. And you can control the mind very easily if you keep the lotus 2 feet of Krishna within your mind. That's all. Simply think of Krishna and you are conquered. You are victorious. You become the topmost yogi. Because after all, the yoga system is yoga indriya samyama. Yoga means to control the senses. And above the sense, the mind. So if you control the mind, the senses are controlled automatically. Your tongue wants to eat something, nonsense, but if your mind is strong, mind says, no, you cannot eat. You cannot eat anything except Krishna Prasad. Then tongue is controlled. So, senses are controlled by the mind. Indriyani pararahu, indriyabha paramanaha. My body means senses. So, the senses, my activities mean sensual activities, that's all. But above the senses is the mind. Above the mind is the intelligence. And above the intelligence is the spirit soul. So if one is on the spiritual platform, on the soul platform, then his intelligence is spiritualized, his mind is spiritualized, his senses are spiritualized, he is spiritualized. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. Because actually the spirit soul is working, but he has given his power of attorney to this nonsense mind. He is sleeping. But when he is awakened, the master is awakened, the servant cannot do anything nonsense. Similarly, if you are awakened in Krishna consciousness, your intelligence, your mind, or your senses cannot act nonsensically. They must according to that. That is spiritualization. That is called purification. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanang Bhakti Richat. Bhakti means to act spiritually. How you can act? You have to act with your senses. Therefore you have to spiritualize your senses. Meditation, stopping action means stopping nonsense. But acting in Krishna consciousness is transcendental. Just like you have to stop your senses acting nonsense, but that is not perfection. You have to act nicely, then it is perfect. Otherwise, if you don't train your senses to act nicely, it will again fall down to the nonsense activity. So you have to give engagement to the senses to act for Krishna. Then there is no chance of fall down. That is Krishna consciousness. Go on.
In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because of the mind's ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature. In this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is always to engage the mind in Krishna's service. The Sanskrit word hai in this verse is used for emphasizing this point, i.e., that one must do this. It is also said, for man, mind is the cause of bondage, and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense object is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. Therefore, the mind, which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, is the cause of supreme liberation.
There is no chance. Mind being engaged always in Krishna consciousness, there is no chance of its being engaged in Maya consciousness. The more we engage our mind in Krishna consciousness, the more you keep yourself in the sunlight, there is no chance of getting into darkness. That is the process. If you like, you are at liberty. You can keep yourself within the room in darkness, and you can come in the broad daylight. That depends on your choice. But when you come in the broad sunlight, there is no chance of darkness. Darkness can be eradicated by light, but light cannot be covered by darkness. Suppose you are in a dark room, you bring one lamp, the darkness is over. But you take something dark and go to the sunlight, or it will fade away. The Krishna Sujya Sama Maya Andhaka. Krishna is just like sunlight, and Maya is just like darkness. So, what darkness will do in sunlight? You keep yourself in sunlight, darkness will fail to act upon you. This is the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Keep always yourself engaged in Krishna consciousness activities. Maya will not be able to touch you, because there is no possibility of darkness become influential in life. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that when Vyasdev, under the instruction of his spiritual master Narad, by Bhakti Yoga pranihite sammak, pranihite amale, Bhakti Yoga na manasi. The same mind, manasi means mind. When enlightened by Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti life, Bhakti yogena manasi sammak pranihite amale. When the mind becomes completely freed from all contamination, that can be done by bhakti yoga. Bhakti yogena manasi sammak pranihite male apasat purusang purnam. He saw the Supreme Personality of God. Maya jagad apasrayam. And he saw this Maya just on the background. Apasrayam. Light and darkness. Along with, just like here is light, there is darkness also here. Little darkness. The darkness remains under the shelter of light, but light does not remain under the shelter of darkness. So, Vyasdev saw Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and this Maya darkness of Asrayam, just under his shelter. And who is this Maya? That is explained. Jaya Sanmahito Jiva, the same Maya, the same illusory energy which has covered these conditioned souls. And who are those conditioned? Jaya Sanmahito Jiva, Atmanam Trigunatmakam. Although the spirit soul is as light as Krishna or God, although small, but he is identifying himself with this material world. Jaya Sanmahita. This is called illusion. When we identify ourselves with this matter. Jaya Sanmahita Jiva Atmanam Trigunatmakam. Paropi Manute Anartha. Although he is transcendental, he still is engaged in nonsensical activities. Paropi Manute Anartha. Tat kritancha vipaddate, and he acts dictated by this Maya. These are very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto you will find, 7th chapter. So, our position is that we are spiritual spark, lightning spark, but now we are covered by this illusory energy Maya. And we are being dictated by the Mayan acting and becoming entangled more and more in material energy. And you have to get out from this entanglement by this yoga or perfect yoga